Marijuana. The popular recreational drug is now the third most used behind alcohol and tobacco. With more states reforming laws, is America ready for the complete legalization of the drug? Firearm safety. More than half of Americans believe in the right to bear arms. But are we educated enough on gun ownership and safety? We will have reports on how to properly handle firearms. And the holiday shopping season is upon us. We're 3 weeks until Christmas. Are you shopping as smartly as you think? This and more on NewsLine.
From the campus of West Virginia State University, you're watching WVSU NewsLine.
Hello, I'm your host, Forrest Carter. I'm happy to have you with us. We begin our show with the ongoing debate over the legalization of marijuana in the U.S. As attitudes towards the drug changes, many groups are forming to help reform current laws. One such group is NORML. Jess Bobbie has more on this report.
As the trees once again become flush with leaves as springtime rolls in, many will roll up to celebrate one of the biggest counterculture holidays in North America. April 20th, or 420, has become well known as a holiday in the eyes of marijuana users. Not only a day of glorified cannabis consumption, over the years it has become a day for legal reformers to gain more attention. One of the largest reform groups in the United States is called NORML, or the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. They are heavily involved in the legal aspect of this holiday and work tirelessly to get marijuana legalized across the nation. In West Virginia, like most other states, marijuana is completely illegal. All penalties of possession are considered misdemeanors, but all distribution penalties are deemed felonies and can carry a prison sentence of up to 5 years and a fine of up to $15,000. I spoke with a friend to get his thoughts on cannabis and the holiday itself.
I was 17 years old. All my friends were smoking, and I just never did. And finally, one night, we left high school, and I was dropping my friend off, and I told him that tomorrow to have one rolled up, I guess. And right after school, we went out to Lacey. It's like old dirt road and gravel road, and we parked, and like 4 of us, and we smoked a blunt. And definitely been a part of my life for every day now, everyday life.
With the popularity of marijuana at its highest levels and only continuing to grow, it is all but certain that 420 will follow suit as cannabis enthusiasts and legal reformers alike will use this holiday as a catalyst to hopefully one day in the near future see marijuana decriminalized for the first time since the 1930s.
Reporting for WVSU NewsLine, I'm Jess Bobbie.
Alcohol abuse is a problem for people of all ages. Carpenter spoke with a WVSU student about the effects of friends that drink to excess.
By society's standards, alcohol is for a fun night out or at home relaxing, but it also bypasses car crashes as a leading cause of accidental death. WVSU student Jason Likens told me one of his experiences with alcohol abuse.
One of my best friends that I grew up with knew him pretty much all of my childhood. We got to about junior high, and he started stealing his brother's alcohol, and it was just kind of like a downward spiral from that, and it just really screwed up his life.
Some fail to realize how deadly a drug it can be.
And it's one of the things that people don't really push too much. It's not like pot or crack or anything. It's every bit as big of an issue as drugs are.
For more information on alcohol abuse, go to www.dhhrwv.gov. For WVSU NewsLine, I'm Jen Carpenter.
Thanks, Jen, for that report. Over half of Americans support the right to bear arms, but even with the number of people in favor of gun ownership, are we educated enough to handle the responsibilities that come with owning one? Reporters John Cantease and Jamie Ola have more on this issue.
The National Rifle Association, or NRA. Just mentioning it seems to stir up opinions on all ends of the political spectrum, and everybody seems to have an opinion. What do you think of when you think NRA?
I think they overreact.
I think that the NRA is very important because people should be able to have their own gun and own their own gun if they think that they are going to be harmed or if they want to keep their house safe.
Rednecks. Overall, I think that the NRA is just silly.
Since public opinion of the NRA tends to fluctuate, it's difficult to say just how influential the group is in America today. To find out more, we spoke with E.J. Smith, a certified handgun instructor who specializes in NRA certification and concealed weapons permits.
Well, first of all, I think that the NRA has become associated with the Republican Party. That's not necessarily the case. Typically, I am a Democrat myself, and sometimes it's a little frustrating when people come up to me and they say, we know your politics, because they probably don't. I think the NRA at times gets kind of sidetracked and gets into politics maybe a little more than they should, but I see it as a very important part, what they're trying to do as far as education of the public about firearms and firearms safety.
EJ was nice enough to give us a little sample of his class with some target practice.
There, why don't you shoot the big one? See if your aim is good.
Did I get it?
You did. Our real goal should be, and I think still is, to educate people about firearms safety and the proper handling of firearms, so that we can be a safer, stronger country.
Reporting for WVSU NewsLine, I'm John Cantease.
According to the FBI's National Instant Criminal Background Check System, West Virginia currently ranks 4th in the nation of citizens who own firearms. So with all these guns, I guess I should learn how to shoot. But first I need to learn how to be safe.
When handling your gun and loading it, you always want to make sure the head of the gun is facing outwards away from you or anybody else around. When loading your bullets into your clip, you push your bullet down and the other bullets will just slide in there. Then you just load your clip, listen for the click, cock, and ready.
Now that we know how to load, let's talk to my friend and gun enthusiast, Jay, and see what kind of firepower we will be handling.
A Remington Nitro Mag shotgun here, and I have a Glock 919. I also have a Remington 22.
With a little more coaching, I'm finally ready to take my first shot. I think I'll start with the Remington 22 and the Nitro Mag shotgun. Last but never least is the Russian Mosin Nagant bolt-action rifle, Mother Russia's most historically proven early battle rifle. This rifle is big, powerful, and hopefully not too much for me to handle. I have found that a day at the range consists of sunshine, good friends, mix in some cool and historic guns, and it all equals out to a good time. For WVSU NewsLine, I'm James Ola.
John and Jamie, thank you for those reports. We now switch gears to a more personal topic. What happens when we die? No one has the answer, or do they? Our reporters talked to a physician, a pastor, and a mortician for their views on life and death, and what may happen after both.
Most people tend to be naturally curious about what happens to them when they die, but it's also important to know the physiological side. I sat down with Dr. Moses at his family practice in Huntington, West Virginia, for his perspective on death.
Well, the death is defined easily when there's no brain function. Okay, the sort of the simple rule is when there's no brain function. They actually do brain scans, specifically looking for brain function. So if we do a scan and there's no brain activity, you're legally dead. What do we look for? We look for heart, respirations, and neurological. The other thing is other neurological things. We look at light reflex to the pupils. You know, you're shining a light to see if there's a reflex. If there's typically, you know, it's wide open, you hit the light, cringes down to a small pupil, let it go, it gets big again. And so you're looking for that reflex, and if that reflex is nothing there, and I've seen plenty of those, and when they're not moving, you know they're dead.
The essential difference between clinical death and biological death is brain function. People have come back from clinical death due to enough oxygen to the brain. Oxygen deprivation to the brain can cause permanent damage or death.
When I was a resident, we call those code blues. When a patient, stops, heart stops, respiration stop, we call it code blue, which is a medical, emergency. And we have teams that run to it, doctors that are there, nurses, respiratory therapists, anesthesiology. We have everybody involved, to kind of get them back. We'll see what we can do. If we've gotten to that point, they have died, and then now we're bringing them back. So people will say, I died and I came back. That's kind of what they're referring to.
Speculation on near-death experiences and the afterlife have become important all over the globe. I asked Dr. Moses for his thoughts on the matter.
Well, I guess it depends on if you're a believer or not. I think that probably makes the biggest role, because I think if you believe that there is a life after, if you believe in God, I think, and you have hope for a future, I think then there's stories of life afterwards, and you tend to believe it to be one thing. I think if you are an atheist or a non-believer, I think there's what you believe is different, because you come up with excuses. Same way with when we have cures for things, we diagnose a cancer and suddenly the cancer's gone. The non-believer aspect of medicine would say, oh, we must have scanned the wrong patient, versus the believer side would be, the patient was healed. Have I seen it? Yes. Have I seen healing? Yes. Do I believe it was God healing? I do. I think it happens. It happens every day. I don't know how we can be in medicine and not believe in God. It's just what I believe.
Reporting for WVSU NewsLine, I'm Max Wallace.
People have always been curious about where they go when they die. I took a trip to the All Nations Revival Center Church in Dunbar, West Virginia, to talk to Pastor Frederick Hightower about his views on the afterlife.
Well, I do certainly believe that there is eternal life, and that when we die, that our soul, spirit rather, goes to stand before God. Whether we're in heaven or hell depends upon his pronouncements. I believe heaven is the full manifestation of God's presence. You know something? There is something that is inherited in man that they want to go on vacation. I believe that that's something that God has placed within us instinctively to want to go to heaven. So I believe that heaven is going to be like Disneyland and all of that put together in eternal life. I believe that hell is the total absence of God. If God is love, then hell is total hate. If God is light, then hell is total darkness. And there will be people to go to hell, and they'll be with Hitler and Mussolini and Ted Bundy and all those people. And if you want to go there, it's fine. I ain't going there.
Reporting for WVSU NewsLine, Maria Hightower.
When an individual passes away, there are several phases of afterlife events that occur. One is known as the embalming process. I spoke with James Lowry, a professional embalmer in the Kanawha Valley who's had more than 50 years' experience, about the art of embalming.
The embalming process is performed by licensed embalmers who have 4 years in education. They have at least 2 years of college, 1 year, 12-month apprenticeship program, and a 12-month program in mortuary science. You can go 6 years and get a degree in mortuary science now, which wasn't possible back at the time I went to school. The pump that we use is a Duratronic, can get up to 90 pounds pressure, and we fill the tank usually about 2-3 gallons of solution. Then we use one of these varieties of arterial fluids. Now the base for all of them is formaldehyde. They've not been able to find anything else to use other than formaldehyde. They've tried other chemicals and have not been successful at it. You would simply take this bottle, empty 16 ounces of it to about 2 gallons of water, and raise a carotid artery or a femoral artery. And the fluid is injected into the carotid artery or femoral artery, and it goes through the circulatory system, and it washes out the blood. It does not drain the blood first and then inject the fluid. It's all one operation. It goes through the circulatory system, and these chemicals are absorbed into the individual tissues, which changes the composition of those tissues to prevent decomposition. Then we work on bodies which are autopsied, which means they have been, the procedure for that is making a Y incision. You sometimes see that on NCIS or one of those. And the organs are taken out. When we get a body back, the organs are in a plastic viscera bag. We have to add a stronger chemical, which is called a cavity chemical. This is almost straight formaldehyde. And we pour it into the bag, and the viscera is preserved in that manner Then we inject the body. We have to hypo out the sidewalls and put the viscera back in, and then we have a powder called hardening compound. And we put that into the viscera bag with the viscera and also on the inside of the cavity, and then the body's sewn up. And of course it's ready for the funeral home.
In present-day society, embalming is practiced almost universally throughout the United States. Every day it is becoming more commonplace for countries around the world to embalm their dead. Today, the methods used to prepare the dead for burial are far more advanced than those employed in ancient times. However, the tools developed during Civil War embalming haven't changed much.
Arterial embalming, as we know today, actually got its start back prior to the Civil War. It came about being mainly due to the Civil War when surgeons discovered they could embalm bodies with arsenic, zinc, mercuric chloride, and so forth to ship the soldiers' bodies home to their families. From that point forward, it wasn't until the 1890s before undertakers actually began to do the embalming. And then, of course, it came into funeral home practices. They used to go into the home and embalm bodies, and then they started going into funeral homes and embalming bodies.
Reporting alive from WVSU NewsLine, I'm Bobbie Spry.
Thanks, Max, Marie, and Bobbie. To share your thoughts on the afterlife with us, go to facebook.com/WVSU.MBS. And we'll be right back with a check on the Mountain East Athletic Conference with Jordan Brock after this short break.
West Virginia State University. Experience the power of education.
Football, volleyball, golf, and tennis have ended, and now basketball season is taking over. Here's a quick recap on what happened during the final week of football season. In the Mountain East Conference, Shepherd University finished at the top of the list for the 2013 football standings with a 9-0 conference record. Concord and Urbana both ended the season with a 7-2 record, finishing in the second and third spot. Charleston ranked 4th, and Glenville State finishing at the number 5 spot. John Knox, Desmond Hawley, Andy Ellington, and Tori Wagner have been named Mountain East Conference Players of the Week for their outstanding efforts in Week 10. Women's volleyball ended the season with only 4 teams advancing to the conference tournament: Wheeling Jesuit, Charleston, Fairmont, and Shepherd. Congratulations to Wheeling Jesuit for taking the title as conference champions. Concord University won the conference title for men and women's golf. Wheeling Jesuit took the women's title. West Virginia State University's women's tennis team defeated West Liberty 5-1 in the conference championship. This is the Yellow Jackets' second consecutive conference win. Basketball season has tipped off, and tough action is taking place weekly. Throughout the Mountain East, the Hilltoppers of West Liberty University have made their way again to the number 1 spot in the men's national NCAA Division II Top 25 poll for the 3rd time in 5 years. West Liberty is now 5-0. University of Virginia at Wise, Shepherd, and Fairmont State are at the top of the list and are also competing very heavily in the conference. Women's basketball has now entered into Week 5. Glenville State now holds the top conference rank, followed by West Liberty, Fairmont, and West Virginia State University trailing close behind. Games will begin to heavily flow as the holiday season begins to approach us. For statistics and game-to-game archives, visit the conference website at mountaineastconference.org. Thank you for watching this episode of the Mountain East Conference Update. I'm Jordan Brock.
Thanks, Jordan. That time is here. With a month to go to get all of your holiday shopping done, we've sent reporters to get some helpful shopping tips.
Finances are tight for pretty much everybody in this day and age, and the thought of purchasing big-ticket items such as cars, furniture, and bedding can be pretty daunting when you're feeling the financial pressure that most of us are dealing with right now. Former automobile salesman Lawrence Moles had some words of wisdom for those who may be looking to buy a new or used vehicle.
Best time to actually buy a car is when the car lots are full. When the car lot needs to actually move some product, when they have overstocked or surplus, you should say, they're going to do whatever it takes to get the deal done. If if you can actually haggle with someone and have a good time and get to their price, and you actually stay at a price that you can handle as a company, haggling is fun. If that's what it takes to actually close the deal, then that's what it takes. Research is the number one thing I could actually recommend nowadays. If you do as much research as possible, internet, look at reviews. Used car warranties aren't bad, you know, in a sense. They'll help cover if you have a higher mileage car, more wear and tear on a car. Yeah, I'd recommend one on a used car, but on a new car, never. New car, you know, 5 years to 6 years are already covered from the manufacturer, so why pay more money to get something added on that's already covered?
And if furniture is what you're in the market for, Adam Dale, a man with many years of furniture sales experience, can give you some direction as to what to look for when buying.
Best time to buy furniture, I'd say, is hit the double bonus. You know, look at the ads, ask the sales associate when's the best time. They'll tell you. Warranty is what you make of it. I mean, if you put into the warranty, if you follow up and call about it, you're going to get bang for your buck. If you just buy a warranty and never do anything with it, then you lose out. In my opinion, the best brands, as far as upholstery goes, I think England, Broyhill, you know, Case Goods. I mean, there are a lot of good brands out there. So.
Experts say we spend a third of our lives in bed. Cosby Spencer, who is a bedding specialist, gives us some guidelines to follow when it's time to start searching for a new mattress.
There's several different types of mattresses when shopping. There's going to be your traditional inner spring, which has your spring unit. There's also going to be all memory foam, which there's a wide variety of different collections. And then you also have your hybrid beds, which is half springs and half memory foam. So you have the best of both worlds with the hybrid. If there's back problems, health issues, memory foam is definitely the way to go because of pressure-free sleep. Check your sales ads. Manufacturers will do rollback pricing, free box spring pricing. Always watch for that. It's a great time to buy. Warranty comes with the manufacturer with every bed that you purchase. The add-ons would be the protection as far as stains, because stains do void warranties on mattresses. So you definitely have to watch that when purchasing your bed. So if your mattress sags, do not settle for it. Check with your manufacturer's warranty.
Reporting for WVSU NewsLine, I'm Joseph Lusk.
November 29th, 2013 will be this year's Black Friday, and retailers are already beginning preparations.
You know, you got a lot of consumers that hold off from doing business with you till that date because they know the specials. So you have to anticipate probably your busiest day out of the year. And obviously you want to staff for that too, so you have to hire in a lot of people just to handle the business on that one day. And allowing shopping space too. Small stores, obviously most GameStop stores are really small, so you have to make sure that you have adequate space for everybody that's going to be in line, and then have enough space there for the walls to still be shopped. And
what are some do's and don'ts that retailers want customers to remember?
But I think the most important thing for customers is be very reactionary. We just like every other business will release flyers ahead of time so that you know what we're going to have on sale. So my best advice would be to just make sure that you have a good plan of what you're going to get before you come into the store, because I think at times it can be chaotic, and if you have an idea of what you're looking for already, the staff here can automatically take care of you.
Well, first of all, we want them to know that we always want to help them. So we will always ask, but they need to know that if for some reason we didn't ask, or if they said they're just looking, they can always come back to us and be like, hey, we want to help them, we want to wardrobe them, we want them to know that when they come in their store, we will take care of them. Just avoid not asking questions, because we are here to help.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy, yeah.
And obviously be courteous to other customers too. I mean, it's a given, but everybody's aggressively shopping that day, so the best advice I can give is just to make sure that you're respectful to other customers, and in turn you will be taken care of no matter what. I mean, whatever item you're looking for, we're going to find it.
Reporting for WVSU NewsLine, I'm John Cantease.
Thank you for watching. We will be back next year with more NewsLine. Until then, happy holidays, and I'm Forrest Carter.